Then straightforward 10 years I was in Japan for my education purpose. Then I also worked there for nearly 3 years. Then I was in USA for 1 year for postdoc, and I decided to move to Malaysia in 2004. And then I was in, I can say roughly 14 years I was in Japan, 1 year in USA, and 18 years in Malaysia. And also I was off and on to Saudi Arabia as a visiting professor, nearly 5 years. So these are like, maybe through the experiences I can share my things. I have seen maybe what you have not seen yet. Inshallah you'll see more. So you will learn definitely today through my eyes and can decide that which way you would like to prefer. I am a DL, Distinguished Lecturer of Electron Device Society of IEEE. So I was selected, or I was like through some process, screening process, I was selected in 2021 while I was in Malaysia. Among the 8 others from Malaysia, I was selected. So I still give DL talks, which is specifically on my research topic, which is not shared today. So DL talk is completely different. Maybe in future you can think of DL talk, which is specifically for the research topics. So about the publications, I'm just showing this number. Always some mentioned, but the number says this Scopus index. I have 490 as of today. Okay, out of that 319 journals. These journals, reference journals in the Scopus list of things. This is what is not something to brag. It is something that I have experience in working in different projects, writing papers. Each paper is one story. I'm not a storyteller, but I can tell these things that, yeah, this project, this paper is the fruit or outcome of this project. So in that sense, I do not want to enjoy the 2% scientist yet. I don't like that way. In fact, 2% scientist is a kind of like, commercial thing or something I really do not enjoy, I honestly speaking, but this is I enjoy. Yes, I worked on so many papers. I contributed. Alhamdulillah, I can contribute, and I know the story to tell. I can share my experience. This is what I enjoy. That I have worked in 490 referent journals and proceedings. So this is what I can share with you, so that you may proceed or you may not proceed. Definitely, I have so many co-workers. I would like to acknowledge first, before I start my topic, the 2 research institutes I worked in Malaysia. One is in University of Tenaga National or National Energy University. The other one is the National University of Malaysia, where Liku did his PhD. He was supposed to do PhD under me, but he changed the field, and that is very good luck for him, I believe. Anyway, so yeah, then I have. Yeah, still we are connected, my students, my colleagues, and my collaboration partners, home and abroad, Malaysia and other countries, and also the useful literatures I use sometimes, and some of the pictures I use here. So we always prefer that we are committed for a solar green Earth. That means the Earth is, I mean, as of today, you know that the Greens are, although you are a green university is very lucky to be so green, but if you go to other places, they are not lucky. There's one building, like for example, if you go to the Brack University, if you go to East Coast University, I've been there for some other purposes. I saw that, I mean, even the places in Bangladesh, other places, they're not as green as you are. You are very lucky. So we are also committed to make the Earth real green with the use of solar energy. That's what our slogan is. And one of our efforts, I always share, this is the book, Academic Press, published in 2020, I think. It's a group effort from our research group, and I have contributed 2 chapters here, and which is available, comprehensive guide on organic and inorganic solar cells. So the first chapter and third chapter is contributed by me. You can check. This is the group effort. This is really a nice book. You can share, and you can sometimes refer. Okay. The outline of today's talk. Okay, is my introduction. Some of the introductions are given. Then importance of solar PV as renewable energy. Then R&D potentials of solar PV in Bangladesh, and scopes. Different kind of scopes, engineering scope and research scope will be discussed. And then finally, I'll be talking about our readiness. The first thing I would like to share is that I always feel that it's pity. In fact, like for example. Today I heard from our fellow friends that They spent nearly 3.5 hours to come to this campus. You cannot believe. I told that 3.5 hours is a flight from Kuala Lumpur to Dhaka. Only 3.5 hours. But from Shamoli to here, somebody came, 3.5 hours. So we are living in a different world. Okay, so that's why the overall, if I share that some countries are spending billions to find water in Mars or to find water in the other side of the moon. You know that, right? The China is trying to land to understand whether there is water in moon. But they are polluting our air, they are polluting our water, and they are not taking any responsibilities, although they are connected. So this is a pity that, our perspective is completely different. We are not really sympathetic to our fellow neighbors. Whereas we are trying to show, we can go to Mars, we can go to Moon to find out the water. Whilst our own water is polluted, we cannot drink any water anymore, or we cannot really breathe in a very fresh air. So at least I'm ashamed of it, to be a part of the research community in that sense. So, by the way, there are people like our colleagues that we always think that how to solve the problems. I mean, I'm just sharing one Millennium Project. It started in 1996 when almost 2,000 futurists, policymakers, researchers, they gathered in the United Nations and they started thinking of, how to pass to the millennium, the year 2000. So they started thinking of the common problems. They found that nearly 15 problems that time, which was then called 15 global challenges. But over the period of time, after almost 20 years, now the outcome is SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, which was finally accredited or determined by the United Nations UN General Assembly in 2015, and way forward in COP21 Paris, and way forward COP26 in Glasgow, and way forward in COP28 UAE recently. So we are now thinking that all our problems are global or our own problem, like these 17 SDGs. So one of the problems is affordable and green or clean energy is number 7. So always we see, I myself see that we have a very big problem in energy, especially in electricity production. That's why we believe that clean energy, green energy through the renewables might be the solution. Anyway, so key issues of mankind, as I mentioned here, our research should be focused on this, not on the publication-based research. I have a little bit different ideology about this citation, this and that. I enjoy my research papers, but not the citation and using the citation, claiming something. It is a different issue. I cannot simply discriminate any effort of any single researcher who has published one paper and with his integrity, with his honesty, with his all effort. He is also equally important as I am, at least I can say. So here, the key issues of mankind, the basic needs. We always know that we have water problem, air problem, food problem, health problem. The secondary energy infrastructure. Our road infrastructure is suffering a lot. We are losing work hour, man hour every day. Huge amount of man hour of the whole country is being lost due to communication problem, right? So there are so many problems. So electricity is one of the problems, energy, because this is vital for our life nowadays. Without electricity, I'm not sure whether now we have the electricity here. We don't have the electricity, right? Yeah, or it is running on the IPS. So sometimes during the lecture also we see that there is interruption of electricity, this and that. So Sir already mentioned that we have 3 conventional ways. In fact, most of them are God-gifted, like for example coal, gas, and oil. These are God-gifted fossil fuels, which was accumulated over millions of years. But within the last 200 years, we have been so lavish. We used it. Now we are saying that oil may last, crude oil may last 40 years, natural gas may last another 60 years, coal may last another 80 years. So we already know these results are very less. We cannot simply solve the problem because we are too much dependent on this and we have been so lavish using these things. So these are called non-renewables, and these non-renewables have problems, disadvantages. What are the disadvantages? Main issue is the pollution. We have so much pollution due to this so-called lavish use of fossil fuels, like air pollution, water pollution, land destruction, and also radioactive waste for the these so-called nuclear power plants. And also we have wars. The war that is happening around us is not for peace; it's for domination of the oil field. If you say in single line, this is domination of natural resources, simply, right? So we have problem associated with the usage of renewable and non-renewable resources like fossil fuels. So what is the problem? What is our main refuge, or how to overcome these things? We have something called renewable energy, which is omnipresent, like it's everywhere, like sunlight, we have wind, we have so-called like wave, tidal wave, all those things. We know a few fractions of the renewable resources. Why they are very popular? Because they are inexhaustible. We do not depend on the 13 countries that has 67% of the oil reserves or fossil fuel reserves. If we have 20 countries, then it is secure. That is everyone. We are exposed to sunlight. We have air. We can make use of it. We just need some tools, some devices to convert into usable electricity. So there are countries now who are enthusiastically adopting these renewable resources. Like as you can see, many countries are using renewable resources, and you can see some of the catchphrases that India has world's largest solar farm, as well as like some countries are changing their golf field to this and that. So every day you will find new things. I started this research in 1996 when I started my master's in Tokyo Institute of Technology. That time is a very meager, very small figure of renewable energy adoption, maybe less than 1% in the whole energy scenario. Now it's different. Over 25%, sir. Over 25% global final energy and over 30% of the electricity productions are coming from renewable resources. This is the new figure. Okay. So what are the main renewable resources? Wind, solar, and solar thermal. So I will be focusing on my own field, my lab, I should say, is solar PV. Almost 30 years, inshallah, hopefully I'll be in this. Okay? Before I got married, in fact. So why solar? Solar is something that we get almost 10,000 times than we need in a whole year. Or 1 hour sunlight can give us whole, like if you can really convert into the usable energy, which is called electricity, then we don't need to worry about anything, honestly speaking. We don't need to worry about the extinction of fossil fuels. We don't need. The solar is there, we have to convert it. All we need is the conversion media, some device. That's what the solar cell technology comes in. Okay? And you can see that many countries are blessed with the solar resources. For example, I say always the Saudi Arabia, the country Saudi Arabia, they have blessings from Allah Almighty, from top and bottom. Top means sunlight. They are getting the highest amount of sunlight in a day, and also they are getting that they have the oil reserve. Okay, there might be some correlation. I don't know. So as I mentioned, the solar energy, how we can like get the solar energy in the form of usable energy. Usable energy means electricity. Straightforward. The purest form of energy is electricity. Electricity can be converted into many other options: sound, heat, whatnot. So how to convert this solar energy or sun's energy into a usable or electricity? Straightforward. So there are some physics behind it, which is called photovoltaic effect, which was discovered almost 200 years ago by French physicist Edmond Becquerel. And recently, maybe last 60 years, we just started making some conversion device. Later we named it solar cell or solar photovoltaic cell. And this photovoltaic effect means whenever some materials you put under some light, any kind of light, they produce some kind of voltage. That's why it is called photovoltaic effect, or photovoltage is created. So there are, using this physics phenomena, we can make some different kind of devices, like kind of sheet, this kind of paper sheet. If you just face to any kind of light source, silently it will produce electricity. All you need to do is to make the solar panel. Okay? So, working principle, I have a video here. I'm not sure whether it will work. Let me see. It's from NASA website. So, from the sun, we are getting packets of photons. It is, you know that we call it the particle of the light. So, whenever the solar cell is a like 200 micron thick PN junction, large area PN junction, it is striking by the photons. What will happen? This junction area will release energized electron, which will come through the circuit. So all we have to wait, or whenever the sun is up, even though there is no sun, even 10%, 20%, electricity may be produced from the same cell. Okay? There is no need of direct sum. So this is what the solar cell. A very simple device. As I mentioned that almost 60 years ago, Bell Lab first invented, three of the gentlemen, Chopin, Pearson, and Fuller. They invented this p-n junction solar cell, N-type semiconductor covered by the p-type semiconductor, and there are only terminals. Okay, so this solar cell was invented almost around 1954, and which was producing 6% efficiency. Means if 100% light comes into that area, so through the terminal you get 6% electricity. Energy conversion ratio, we call it energy conversion ratio or simply efficiency. So this stuff, whenever it was invented that time, it was a very precious thing. So there was some newspaper article you can see on the right hand side, bottom, 1954, in the New York Times, they said, okay, the vast power is trapped by battery using sand ingredient. Sand is silicon, so it was made of silicon. In fact, this solar cell, after 60 years, it is giving 1.5% efficiency. So I mean, it shows its integrity, durability. Okay? Interestingly, after that, whenever it was invented in 1954, solar cells are being used only in the space applications. This is the first first solar-powered satellite, which was launched in 1958, which is still giving us some ping. I got some like lecture like this, public lecture, where the professor showed us this one bird is giving us some kind of signal called ping signal. Okay? So it is still running on the solar cell. The PV terminologies for newcomers: cell to panel, panel to string, string to system. So very simple. You have this very small cell, from cell to panel, panel to string, string or array, array to system. So you need to integrate in that way. Classification of solar cells. I'm just talking about the solar cells because it has huge potential to do research. We have so many combinations and permutations of the different materials, different device structures, all those things. So there are so many ways to do research. So let me give you the classification in terms of the generation. The first generation solar cells were basically made of silicon, crystalline silicon. So there are two factions. One is single crystal or monocrystal. The other one is polycrystal solar cells. You can see the left side. And in the middle, the thin films. You can put on the glass polymer foil or metal foil. Thin layer of semiconductors and can make solar cells, which I did my master's PhD on this, although I have experts in this. And then the new versions, last 20 years almost, or some more years, new metal called perovskite, then tandem structures. There are so many different, then dicensita solar cell. There are so many different materials and different configurations. So we can make a lot of options. So research paper will be coming out from that if you just simply focus on it. Evolution of solar panels. Whenever I went to Japan for my undergraduate study in 1990, so I purchased this in 1991. This is a sharp calculator with then technology solar cell almost 30 years ago, 32 years ago. Okay, so this is still running. Okay, it was in milliwatt peak range. Now recently I visited one of my students' company in Bangladesh, in Dhaka. So he showed me, sir, this is the panel we are using for rooftop project. So how big it is? Of course, physically it is bigger than me, more than 2 meters, and wider. Of course. What is the electrical output? Electrical output is 670 watt peak. This is milliwatt, maybe 1 or 2 milliwatt peak. This is what? How many times it evolved? It's big, large. Commercially available solar panels? Yes. First and second generation solar cells are commercially available. Okay. As I showed the classifications, many different. But in Bangladesh, you can find only monocrystalline and polycrystalline. You see the dark color, black color, or blue color. Only these two colors you can find. Rest are second generation solar cells. It is not easy to find here. And solar cells, it came across a long way. Like since 1976, there is a record taking by NREL, National Renewable Energy Laboratory, who are making some graph with the best research efficiency solar cells, where we found that different kind of solar cells, each color represents one different kind. So different kind of solar cells are improving the cell efficiency. Whenever cell efficiency gets bigger, we get more output. For example, same area will be giving me more output if the efficiency is bigger or larger. So this is what we are contributing, the research community is contributing, how to improve the solar cell efficiency and how to reduce the cost. These are the two key points. How to improve and the efficiency and how to reduce the cost. So over the period, we can see now some solar cells are 47% efficient, some are maybe 11% efficient, but they are of different kind of, and of course, different cost per watt peak. Definitely, if you pay more, you will get 47% efficient solar cells. Where are they being used? They are being used in the space applications, satellites. So this first concentrated type solar cells or multi-junction solar cells. Okay, then most of the solar cells here, other solar cells we are using here in the terrestrial applications. How we got this, like over the last 30, 40 years? How? Because people work very hard. Researchers like you work very hard over the around the world. They work really hard to improve the efficiency year after year. So solar panels are being used everywhere. In terrain like this, in beach, the bridge, on top of the bridge, even flights, yacht, EV charging, Mars Pathfinder, you know that, some of the hover or rover we send to Mars, trains, even in the desert area, who once was oil rich. They all are now enthusiastically using solar panels because they came to know that this is one of the options that will help us to sustain in this world. There is innovative use. Once upon a time in Africa, we are not that much stout to just simply hold these kind of generators, but it will simply solve the problem. The picture tells us 1,000 words. This is the example of that. And people are using like one panel system in rural electrification, pumping, water pumping. Then even in Japan, the houses, the roofs are no more distinguishable. They are building integrated. We call it building integrated photovoltaics. And you will see one of the town in Tokyo called Ota. Houses are very small houses. For example, individual houses, you can see barely a single house unleft, okay, with the solar panels. Every houses are equipped. Later on, they put solar panels of different kinds, different sizes. This is called the country's drive towards the enthusiastic promotion of solar energy. These are all buildings with the integrated wall. I see in Bangladesh, we are putting now commercial buildings with the glass. The glass price and the solar panel price are the same. Believe me or not, this price per square meter and the solar panel price are the same. So we could have installed solar panel one after another so that you can have the daylight similar way. So maybe in future you can think of it. Whenever you do the building integrated photovoltaics, you'll put half solar panels, or even we have solar panels which are transparent. We can see, we can let some light pass through. So many large area installations like manufacturing plants, R&D, ready-made garments in many places in Bangladesh, they are now installing enthusiastically solar panels. Okay, and if we complain about the land problem, the solution is there. Agrivoltaics. You can just simply put a little bit up, 2 meter high, and still can cultivate down underneath the solar panels. In Bangladesh, in Shirajganj, there are now 68 megawatt peak. I'll show the picture later on. They put that way, in fact, so that they can cultivate the vegetables and all those things beneath the solar panels. Okay, so we can take lesson from other countries. Even in fact, without knowing, in Michapukur is I don't know which district, Michapukur. There is a system by Nowshad. They found that they just put solar panels. They found that beneath it, still paddy grows the same way. If some countries have the problem like Japan, they are now putting solar panels on the quiet and calm like estuaries. Okay, quiet and calm estuaries like this. This is in Singapore. This is in Singapore. Some places this is in Japan. So you can put solar panels on the water body by putting some wire. Even we can do it during nearby coastal areas. Now the thing is whether, we talked about solar, but is it possible to compensate or to replace nuclear power plants by solar plant? Is it possible? Because we know that nuclear power plants are usually 1,000 megawatt or 1 gigawatt scale, right? Bangladesh has two nuclear reactor, 1.2, 1.2, something like that, 2.4 altogether, they say. But they have a different calculation. So is it possible not to have the nuclear and put completely in one place 1 gigawatt? Can we put 1 gigawatt? Yes, we have examples from our neighboring country. India. It's in Rajasthan called Badla Solar Park, which within the area of 57 square kilometer, 5 kilometer by 10 kilometer area, maybe that way you can see, they have a capacity of 22 megawatt, 2,200 megawatt. Okay, and the cost is 1.4 million US dollar. Just remember this figure. Bangladesh Rupu nuclear power plant, 2000 name tag output is 2,160 megawatt. Cost is 13 million. And you have to spend billions after billions for this nuclear fuel and then whatnot, the waste management and everything. This one, every day they are getting 10 gigawatt hour per day, and the cost is 3.2 US cent, roughly 3 taka, 4 taka. Can you imagine? They have stability. Not only that, in China, you can see the solar power plant is with their capacity, 2 nuclear reactor capacity, 2.2 gigawatt. Okay. Third one, again in India, they are pushing us for coal-based, right? A lot of other based, but they have very nice these things. This one is 53 and 2.1 million and 2 gigawatt. Okay. So what is the scenario? Latest scenario? How we are adopting? You can see the picture. The world has now, by the end of the year of 2022, we have more than 1 terawatt. 1 terawatt. By the year 2022, not 2023. It will be more than that, more than 100 something. So we have over 1 terawatt of solar installation, which produced in 2022 1,322 terawatt hour of energy in a whole year. It produced from solar PV panels, and also it avoided 1,137 million tons of carbon dioxide. We call it carbon sequestration. So it is hugely contributing to our environmental, pollution mitigation. Okay. And electricity from the solar, once upon a time it was like 3 or 4 times, but it is all now neck and neck. And by the year 2020, IEEE already declared that solar energy, solar electricity from around the world, except Japan or some other countries, the cheapest among other resources, for example, coal, oil, or wind. If you compare with others, it is the cheapest per kilowatt hour. And as I already mentioned, by the next few years, you see that maybe nuclear will still be there by 2050. Coal slightly up and down, natural gas same or slight, but renewables are getting high, and of course solar PV is one of the mainstream of renewables. I'm showing this. This is a study done by Lund University in Sweden. They said 139 countries. They did some energy, like for example, in future they do it energy roadmap for their country. Okay, by 2050 they found that 139 country can be 100% renewable, and in that option, 47 to 50% will be from solar, and rest will be from wind, biomass, and everything. So solar has a huge prospect. That's why I said, just think of it. Just make sure that you believe it. The data says that. Okay, this is the overall platform is now produced. Now we have to look into the scope for us. Okay, we are staying in this very nice place, although it's very inconvenient to get to here. So what are the scopes for us in terms of engineering and in terms of I'll also show the research scopes. First of all, engineering scopes. Yes, solar is a system. It's a generation system. So we have solar standalone system, hybrid system, grid connected system. So the system, you can be a system integrator, PV installer, we call it. You can be. In Bangladesh, there is no professionally accredited. Like, so who are we doing? They just learn, like, you know, like for example, some become medical doctor with just learning. The compounders become the medical doctor, not the medical doctors. Something like that. Those who are installing, they do not have proper guidance, proper knowledge, proper training. So even with their 3 months training, you can be a very good installer. The installer can do what they can do. They can do the total synchronization of the heart of the system, which is the solar panel, brain of the system, which is the charge controller, stomach of the system, which is the battery for external systems. So he will do the optimized synchronization. Okay, so there is a huge scope here, engineering job opportunity. Our system failed. Most of the systems are failing everywhere. Rooftop system failed, garbage. We see. Okay, Then the other one is the NEM, like net energy metering rooftop, which is grid connected system, which is recently by the year 2022, Bangladesh government, Australia has already said you can connect, you can put solar panels on your rooftop and you can sell electricity to the grid, you can give. But in Malaysia, we can get back, but in Bangladesh, we don't know whether we'll get back. So that is the problem. So this grid connected system now, it is very nice system because grid is the battery. We don't need a battery in our home. We produce and we sell. We need, we buy. So there is a elimination of the battery need, huge cost cutting. Okay, but we have a problem. So huge job opportunity. And this is some of this the schematics of these systems. For example, direct connection. Once upon a time, FIT, feed-in tariff system was very popular, but no more is there. But we have now NEM system, the name Selco scheme, all those schemes. So engineering job opportunity there. Some of the pictures of the green tie systems on the rooftop. So even Green University, you are green by name, but you have to be green in terms of energy usage as well. So you can propose your university opportunity, so to have it you have a huge area and very nice. So you can be well compensated by the renewable energy resource. And now within 6 years, I guarantee 6 to 7 years, the ROI will be met. Okay. Large scale solar farm. This is one of the mainstream now. Even in Bangladesh, once upon a time, I have been professing since 2007, and I met you in 2012, right? 12 or 13. You came to see me 15 now. Before that, I had been giving lectures to UIU and many other things. So they didn't believe that solar can solve our problem. Now they always say, oh, we don't have a land, we have. Now, believe me or not, in Bangladesh, large scale solar farms are becoming very, very common. 20 megawatt, 30 megawatt. I'll show you some of the pictures. So you can be an engineer for that large scale project. Okay? I'll show you those afterwards. Bangladesh scenario. So research, for example, for you, research scope. Yes, I was. Your Musa was telling, Dr. Musa was telling me, he was also very blunt to me. He was telling me, how can I be a 2% researcher? I said, no need. No need. Be a researcher. No need to be a 2% researcher. This 2% is a scam kind of thing. To me, honestly speaking, we have so many different kind of fields, right? You are comparing between apple, mango, whatnot, banana, you are comparing, you are doing banana first, then orange second, right? I'm not sure whether you think that way. But what I think, we cannot simply classify our researchers by that way. There will be a very unhealthy, corrupted, so-called unethical competition in future. The researchers in Japan, researchers in the USA, in Germany, they don't care about this ranking. Yeah, they care about their paper numbers. Yeah, this is what we do. That's some 400 some papers. Although it's very difficult for me to write all those 400 papers. I wrote barely few tens of papers by my hand, or by my computer, rest by my group. I got the recognition. That's it. That's what we do. You have to understand what is research. Anyway, so research in solar, first of all, you have to understand what is research. To do research is that we have an urge to do something good for the mankind. If I have this problem, road problem, how can I develop my road system, transport system? For example, you think that way, you are coming. How can I utilize our resources? How can I make sure that my limited resources will be at most utilized? All those things you have to think. This is what the researchers from the bottom of your heart always think of some innovative ways. So there are some inventive and innovative research that you can do. But one day maybe I'll come and give you how to do research, what to do research. Maybe another topic I'll do. But in terms of the solar, it is all about the solving problem. How to reduce the price, how to improve the efficiency in terms of the solar cells. For the systems, how to improve the efficiency, and again, how to reduce the cost. Same thing. Every research is that. How to make it more available to mass people. Okay? So prospects in PV R&D, PV research, I classify. I'm not sure. This is what I see. Most of the things are my own experience. So you cannot match with others, maybe other literature. This is what I understand. That the PV research can be classified into three things: system research, device research, and method research. System research means you can use some of the softwares, Homer, PVSys, PVSolve, PVWorks, to understand the system. So that you do the system. Before you go into the field, you install the field, things, we check with the softwares, or you can create your own software. Next, device. Yes, we take the device. Devices are the heart, as I mentioned before, of the whole solar system. So how to do the research? Yes, in Bangladesh, I'll show who are doing the research. Here there are some things, but mainly overseas. Okay? So experimental and simulation-based research can be done. There are so many options. Many people are still doing PhD, masters, postdoc, whatnot, on this device research, because it has so much options, so much wings. Then there are materials research, because solar cell is basically a large-scale PN junction which is made up of some materials. So these materials can be developed. Okay, and if you want to do material research by hands-on, you can do. But if you want to do by simulation, I just put some names of the simulators. First principle, calculation, DFT. Then there are some softwares called VAST, Quantum Espresso, BioVia, all those things. They are doing material research. Okay, so you can do that. And for the solar cell device simulation research, there are so many research. I see that most of the IEEE papers here in conference papers on solar are mainly basically on simulation. You can also do simulation, but you have to be innovative in terms of your device structure. Solar cell, now technologies. Okay, as I mentioned, it's not only solar cell only 3, but technologies it includes the other parts, like for example controllers, then so-called hybrid inverters, all those things, right? And also, I think Liqui is also doing on the battery management system, right? Large area battery management system. So that could be a part of that also. So we have potential research focus. First of all, we call it BOSS. Balance of system means charge controllers, PV inverters, grid inverters. These are the still, although we are buying from elsewhere, but we could have done our own way. We could have done our own product development. Okay, so once upon a time in UK, I was in National University Malaysia, where Dr. Deep got his PhD. So there we started, because I could not do my solar cell basic fundamental research, we started from the applications like controllers, different kind of controllers, and some product development. Then charge controller. You can still do charge controller development by different AI implementation, IoT implementation. You can do inverters, grid country inverters. We are buying inverters from some other countries. We can do our own product. Still, there is a scope. Okay, you can have your own company, startup company to do IoT included all those inverters. So you have the scope of product development or innovative. This is from lineup from my own way. For example, we developed a smart home with a smart plug. This is one of my cars in Malaysia. So I put solar panels. Why? I changed the AC system, air conditioning system from alternating current to DC current, and for which I put the solar panel. I'll show you a little bit towards the end. Then it is water purification system, because we have floods. We can easily purify the dirty water by this system. We have laptop charger. We have this cover. This was made for GCiA. Once they came to our lab in Malaysia, within 2 days we made some caps. I just told them to bring the cap, and I put one for them, one for me. This is my own so-called patented product. Small panel. It was 2011. So I developed this solar panel, 5-watt solar panels with 3 options from the back side. We can simultaneously charge 2 phones, cell phones, or one small 6-volt battery. This one. And I started donating to the flood-affected areas since the flood in Sylhet a few years ago. Then drone. We used to call it quadcopter once upon a time. Now it's called drone. Solar cars, the flexible solar panels. It was made in Chicago that time because there's a company now, nothing. Believe me of God, we started with a high hope, now nothing, everything is trading. Same you purchase and we use. Once upon a time we could make the flexible one, and this is the easy buy, how to solarize it. So this is our own innovative product development, where you can also do things. You can solarize, there's a word called solarize. Solarize everything. Wherever you need electricity, solarize it. So the cap, I just put this way so that the farmer at night they can hang it from in their courtyard and they can enjoy the light with the LED lamps, high powered LED lamps, and they can recharge their mobile phone. They can, they can either whenever they are doing work, they can listen to the music or whatnot. So then this is a drone. This is for what? Disaster management, not for just drone to take the picture. Disaster management. Whenever there's a flood, we cannot go. There's a earthquake, we cannot go. So this is for disaster management, but we need something. laptop charger, it was very like, because it's a small area, so how to really charge the laptops from this only 10 watt peak panel, but we have some booster circuit, this and that, with that to do. Then this is solarized, this is the EEE campus. Almost 10 years ago I came and I just tried to put this, and we put our own controller here just to monitor the data, how much it is getting and what is the output, input, everything. These are the things that can be also, this card, this was made in Chittagong, in fact, the solar panels, but the card was in UKM. So we got recognition in Shell Eco Marathon in 2012. And I recently found in 2019, when I went to Japan, to Toyota City, Nagoya, in Japan, I found that the Toyota Technological University professor shared me this slide. He said Toyota is now planning to put in their Prius, they call Prius. Okay, they put solar panels on the body. So this is one thing. Or if you put solar not only on the roof, but also you put somewhere, so it does not need any electricity from outside source. This one, we became, this was a competition in, so we became champion in Malaysia and we became runner-up in the whole ASEAN 10 countries. Okay, this product, this was my brainchild product, and finally I put a few of those. Then later on, I got NSF grant from National Science Foundation USA whenever just COVID broke out. So I proposed that we should have some kind of rainwater harvester with the solar energy, and we can put in the urban area so that people can read. This is the conceptual figure, and finally we made the product. So solar panels are on the roof. So these are all innovative ideas. So what not? These are for smart meter for the microgrid. Still we are working, our capstone project students are working on. HEMS means home energy management system. So that how to minimize your energy bill of the house, or even of your whole premise here. You can do. You can check. You can do IoT sensors, and you can minimize your energy bill. This is the prototype house that I used for our HEMS controller and smart plug. And also in Unit 10, my latest university where I was in Malaysia, a small container house. This is a show house. Any container can be equipped with solar panels of nearly 3 kilowatt, and inside you can put, so you can have a lab. It was a living lab, in fact. I mean, people can live, in so-called in Bangladesh, not Bangladesh, sorry, the Rohingya camps. We're making, every time we hear something that there's a landslide, there's a death, this and that, but we can have this kind of real perfect housing. Now I'll show you some of the research opportunities in this cell. For example, to do a solar cell, you need to have, like for example, knowledge on the material science. You need to have on the electronics, like for example, the PN junctions. There are homo junction, hetero junction, all those things. Structures. You need to have some knowledge about the fabrication process, how to make it. And then also finally economics, like whether it's viable for commercialization or not. So I started my journey because I came almost empty-handed from Japan to Malaysia. So I was given this home in 2006 or 7. So this is my professor for Masters and PhD. Then what I did over the period of time is that it is the clean room now facility. You can see from that side you can enter. So this is inside. Every single thing is on our research funding. I got research funding. I wrote research papers. Then I got fund. There's a clean room, air shower, and there are sophisticated equipments. It was zero. From zero, it was clear. That's why I always say that if you have the intention, if you have the support, you can do everywhere. This kind of lab is not that much. In fact, roughly 3 to 4 crore taka. Nowadays, even police officers have more than that. So usually we have collaborations with the Japanese, because I'm graduate from Japanese university, and I used to go to Japan once a year. Even this year there's a PVC conference in November. This time I'll be giving the lecture over by the online system. So these are my Japanese. During our time they were our friends. So now they became professors in Japanese universities. So this is another lab in Unit 10. It's a much bigger lab. I was showing to the funding agency, so which is much bigger, because I had the experience of a smaller one. So they hired me, paying me more money, and then I just left this university last year. So this is the class 10K clean room, but within maybe 6 to 7 crore taka, something like that. 6 to 7 crore taka. is a peanut nowadays in Bangladesh. I said, even the police officers are having thousands. So there are fabrication, characterization facility. Everything is my venture. That's why I said, if we can do, if you have the intention, if you have the support, honestly speaking, we can do everything. And also, third generation solar cell facility. One of my friends also, he's Bangladeshi, so he also developed his own one, which is much cheaper. Like for example, disensitive solar cell, organic solar cell, organic inorganic can be easily done by these facilities. So we have some. I am towards the end. I'm going to show some of our product. This is our Solar Energy Research Institute. That time he was a director, Prof. Ashaduzzaman. So he was holding, because we had got a grant how to make larger panels, and just to show that usually silicon started from this in 1954. Now silicon, that time it was 6%. Now it is 26%. Now it is 26% efficiency. How? See the evolution of the structure. This is what the researchers do. They do this and that. Still it's a PN junction solar cell, but they have done a lot of things just to increase your inquisitiveness. So also what we did, we learned from the nature, because solar cells are collecting the energy from sunlight. So leaves are the same thing. Leaves are also solar cells. So we try to understand the leaf structure, how they can get most so-called sunlight in a small space. So we learned from different kind of, we call it biomimetic study. So from this study, we learned from different kind of leaves and try to replicate in our solar cell. They're putting some mineral, putting some texture, this and that. Finally, we found that he has some kind of increase in the current. Like for example, current increased from 7.5 or 5 as efficiency. This is current. From this value, ampere, it increased to this, and efficiency increased to some extent. So, and then also we try to implement a lot of new innovative ideas. This and that side, but I will not do that much. So what we did, we simulated, and we just put these two nano layers on both sides, and we got efficiency from 10% to 16% efficiency. So I made the same chopping stove technology. In fact, we do not have the facility in Malaysia. So, and also these are the cells from the second generation solar cells, and how we increase the efficiency. These are the logic or rationale behind we call it prospect. Okay. Then thin films R&D. You can do thin film R&D if you have. In Bangladesh, I'll show you later. Some kind of solar cells are like this. This is relatively less expensive materials. Copper, zinc, tin sulfide. This is also semiconductor, and also flexible solar panels you can make. Innovative solar cells. My professor showed me the high-structure solar cells by amorphous silicon. Pixel type solar cells. Like I mentioned the body, car body, maybe in the future only pixel, one pixel, and very close batch. So they are going to implement this on the car body. Each one is a solar cell, and also flexible solar cell you can put around the column, something like that. And this is the purpose-class solar cell that has shown tremendous scope, research scope in the recent history. Because since 2007 it started from 5 or 6% efficiency, now it is 25% efficiency. So in purpose-class solar cells, those who want to do the simulation work, they can take some kind of idea from the layers information. We also did some kind of study on the purpose side. So we found 80% efficiency. These are the cells, the small cells in our facility. Now about the systems, because I said Bangladesh is now a good user of solar panels. Once upon a time, people said, no, Bangladesh does not have a large area space, but we will see a lot of 10 megawatt, 20 megawatt, even 200 megawatt solar plants are going to be installed soon. Okay, the largest in one single place is in Shirajganj, which is around 68 megawatt. So we need some system-related activity or engineering or research. Okay. So first of all, you have to understand the reliability of the solar panels. If you buy from Tier 1 manufacturers, Tier 1 manufacturers means the best 10 manufacturers in the world. We call it Tier 1 manufacturers. So their panels are simply 25 and more years durable. Okay. So this, but some of the second or third generation solar cells are not that much, like it is nearly 15 to 20 years, 15 to 20 years. So what happens to the solar panels? Okay. For example, solar panels, we found from some study that from day one, this is the timeline, this is the power or percentage. Day one, if it is giving 100%, maybe the few months it can fail for different reasons. Or it can fail gradually, and after 25 years, maybe only 3% degradation may happen if it is the best panel. But in between, we call it midlife failure. Because of some kind of causes, some kind of fluctuations in the nature, some kind of agility, something, it may be a different case. We may lose the output power from the solar panels. So we can study those. Okay? So what we would like to understand that solar panels can fail due to different reasons. For example, optical failure, electrical failure, mechanical failure, and also potential induced degradation failure. So whatever solar panels installation are here on rooftop or in the ground, we can do what? Maintenance study. This is a scope for you, students. You can be maintenance engineer. Okay? By carrying some kind of simply multimeters and some kind of visual inspection tools. You can be there. And after that, for example, end of life. Because you know that in Bangladesh, almost 15 years ago, there was a rule that every houses should put 5% solar panel on their rooftop. This was a rule, mandatory. But what happened? People put just substandard products. There was no monitoring, nothing, no regulations. So what happens? It became a huge garbage for us now. It has what? It has lead in it, lead, plumb. So if you just simply dismantle and just use it for the landfill, there will be problems with our underground water. So what you should recycle it. So solar recycling is maybe a new business for us. Okay. So those solar panels, you collect it, either it's crushing, and you just segregate the elements and you can sell it. This is a good business. So in the recycle process, what the greatest thing is to reuse and recycle. The last one I'm going to tell is about for the computer like those who are from computer science background, you can do forecasting of the solar plants. You can convince your customers, clients, or whenever you are proposing some new plants, you can say this plant by this time it will produce this much. By 1 day ahead, you can give some predictions. So we call prediction modeling. With the use of our AI technologies or prediction modeling, we can put whatever the parameters we have, we can put in our algorithm, and we can make some prediction modeling software or algorithm, and we can produce paper, or we can usually use it for our projects. So now, what is the status of PV in Bangladesh? Okay, because I have shown you everything, whatever is possible in the field of PV, as a researcher, as an engineer, right? So now, what it is in Bangladesh? So what is the status of PV in Bangladesh? And what are the potential R&D sectors? First of all, you have to know that Bangladesh aims to be 40% renewable by the year 2041. I don't know why they put 41. Why didn't they put 2040 in its energy mix? So currently, we have 4% renewables out of 29,000 megawatt capacity. Although we are getting only 13,000 to 14,000 megawatt every day. Next, so. But the ambition is within 15 years we need to go 10 times. Is it possible? I'm not sure. It's a very highly ambitious plan for the country. I mean, not the recent one, maybe the previous regime. So, what is the status of solar PV? Solar PV now simply crossed the milestone of 1 gigawatt after all these years. Since 1990, we have been using solar panels in a small scale. Okay, I'll show you those chronological history. So now, recently, Bangladesh surpassed the 1 gigawatt milestone. Do you remember the whole world has now over 1,000 gigawatt, right? Out of 1,000 gigawatt, 1 gigawatt is from Bangladesh. Bangladesh is contributing 1 gigawatt of solar installations. But in future, Bangladesh is planning to have more. Okay, in future. So, historical timeline. Bangladesh started by the Gramin Shakti. There was one NGO, still it is there. So they started putting small solar panels like this, solar home system. So Bangladesh is the largest, biggest solar home system in that sense, small scale solar home system. Just one panel system. Okay, these are the pictures. Okay, so Bangladesh has over 5.2 million, almost let's say 6 million solar home systems. I mean, this is number one, but it is very small. Then rooftop systems. I took this picture in Agarga because their energy, Bangladesh Atomic Energy, they are using solar panels that time in 2012. They are using solar panels for their lighting, for their pumping. So they are also using solar panels. So it is the pioneer solar panel systems on the rooftop. After that, there are mini grids. mini grids, which is equipped with solar plus battery storage. After that, first grid connector was installed in 2017. So this in Shorishabari of 3 megawatt. It was installed and we can provide the grid. So it is grid connected. After that, rooftop, different sizes rooftop, and the biggest rooftop in Bangladesh is Young One. Young One is a company in Korean visit. Okay, they put, I think this is in one place is the highest number after Apple in California. 16 megawatt on the rooftop they put. This is a Korean company. And then in large scale, on ground. So Bangladesh now, it was the largest until some time. This is Techna solar, something like that. 20 megawatt AC or 28 megawatt DC. Okay? The installation is DC installation 28 megawatt. One large. So place is there in fact. Some people say no, we don't have few acres of land to put 1 megawatt. 1 megawatt needs 2.5 acre of land, and still you can do plowing, cultivation underneath. I already told you by the agrovoltaics. So our students that can visited this one. So this looks like that way. So you have a little bit elevated. This is the one I was telling. It's almost 2.5 meter high. So beneath it, this is in Shirajganj. This is the biggest now. Although there are companies which are in the pipeline. Those will be installing in one place 100 megawatt. Even in Howrah area, you can see nowadays large scale solar farms also. Okay? So you can still plow, or you can put vegetable like vegetation underneath. Okay, this is just beside the Jamuna River in Shirajganj. And you can check the lineup. For example, in multi megawatts, like in one single space, 20, 30, 50, 100, 200, something. You can check straight away inside how this sector is also being encouraged in recent years. So expected PV installations by 2040 will be 30 gigawatt. Now we have only 1 gigawatt. So we have to put another 29 in next how many years? 15 years. Okay. This is the estimated cumulative PV solar. I am talking the waste, right? Because after 25 years, the PV waste will be coming out, and Bangladesh also expecting 196,000 metric tons of end-of-life solar PV. So this sector will be your next venture. You can have a PV recycling power plant or recycling plant like shipbreakyard in Chittagong. You know that Bangladesh is the second largest country which is having the shipbreakyards. Same way you can start your activity. Academic research towards the end. I know it is, of course, it needs your like so-called management support. Of course, the top management should support about the research activity. I'm not sure how the young researchers are managing here. They're still publishing papers. I'm not sure because, I mean, the main important thing is the postgraduate study. Undergrad, still we do not have that much time from the capstone projects. This is my few months experience in Bangladesh. Most of the papers are coming in the IEEE Explore, which is the proceedings, conference proceedings. Not too much papers in terms of journals. The journal needs more work, more concentrated work from the postgraduate study. I think I heard that UGC might give permission for the private universities to start postgraduate studies, okay, so that we can do our postgraduate study. So what I said, the research, academic research is very tough in Bangladesh. Many limitations in Bangladesh, of course, but some of the universities, like Grab University, they are offering me to join them to establish their research wing or something. I hope, but before that, let me share some of the experiences. That in Chuet, in 2012 or 13, I wrote a proposal for them to get the fund from HECA. World Bank supported some projects, so they got 5 crore taka. So they have a renewable energy lab and they have these installations, and we already produced many masters and many two PhD from this lab. So this is a second generation solar cell lab which can produce thin film solar cells. Okay? So you can see the budget was 5 crore taka in 2013-2014. The lineups of the equipments are there. It's simply like the UK, my lab in the UK campus. So it's not that much. But the bigger one is in BCSIR, IFRD. So they got 29 crore taka in 2015 or 16. So I gave them whole idea, everything, and I also trained them for a few months. Finally, they got the lab. And then this is the Druid lab. I visited them for conference purpose in 2015. Last year also I visited them. And they have now good lab under Dr. Professor Farooq, and someone else there. So I saw that their labs, but in 2015 it was very raw kind of thing, like this. Like they used chambers, they made something from some kind of like pipe. You know, you see that this is the connection to the large pipe. They made a chamber where they can produce filters. Okay, material science research they can do. This is Professor Farooq. Anyway, now they got money. So far I heard they have a very nice lab. And then I visited this one, formerly known as Glass and Ceramics Laboratory, before the COVID, and I gave lecture there. Then I found that now they've changed the name to nanotechnology, nanomaterials and ceramic engineering. So recently I visited them. Professor Hasid is the now I think director of that. They have nice equipments, but they still do not have any kind of fabrication equipment, like how to make. They can do only characterization. So now they have recently got one equipment. Dr. Ridwan, there's a professor, there's a teacher there, Dr. Ridwan. So we are in touch. In fact, I want a ecosystem among us. So we do not compete with each other. We compensate with each other. So everyone should practice their own expertise. So we can all gain from the collective research effort by their. Anyway, I think almost towards the end. This is the equipment. So you can go and you can check whether you can use. So what is my adoption or our adoption? I did two things. I solarized my car in 2018 and 19. Solarized means only the car air conditioning. I put two so-called batteries and transport cooler something so that I can enjoy the air cooling system inside from the solar. And there is a data logger also made by us. I can check by second what is the output from the solar, what is my current taken by the AC system, all those things. And I have a plot for 2 months. I found that I'm getting more energy. I got total 18 kilowatt of energy, but I used only 4. So you can do some resizing of the solar panels. Also, I used to live in a house, very narrow house. This is a house, kind of slum house, where we requested for solar panels, and there's a system that we can pay the price in 3 years of time. So how I was benefited? I was benefited before the solar installation. I used to pay 850 ringgit Malaysia, but after installation, I'm paying only 150. So the the electricity price reduced almost 1/6. Okay, and the ROI is 5 years. If I put solar panels today, by 5 years, I'll get back. 5 to 6 years, I'll get back the lines. So rest of the 25 years, I'll be enjoying the energy for free. So those who have ability, you can think of in your rooftop. If you are in a rural house, you can easily simply do that. So I'm not going to do the concluding remarks. It's very general, but what I'm going to share is the prospect of PV carrier for you. For example, what we can do in Bangladesh, development of a possible degradation model of the field system or by a smart monitoring system and analyze the root causes under the realistic Bangladesh condition. You can do that. That is PV doctoring, PV monitoring system. You can do. Okay, because Bangladesh has now 1 gigawatt, and the whole world has more than 1,000 gigawatts. So there will be problems in the PV out there, right, in the field. So you can go and you can check. You can be a maintenance engineer, first of all. Next one. Work on prediction algorithm by estimating the performance of the solar power plants at different sites using machine learning tools, CV values, solar values, blah blah blah. That means you can be a software engineer, but you can be a part of the planning system. Okay, whenever you are going to install some kind of solar plant in some areas, you can do the prediction modeling, because you have to have some kind of so-called liaison with the grid. So you have to tell them that how much you'll be giving to the grid. If you fail, then you'll be penalized. If you give extra, you'll not be benefited. So there is some kind of give and take. So you must understand that. Number 3, smart mini. Smart mini or microgrids with AI IoT applications. Mini grid, microgrid, you can put in your own area. Even in Bashundhara area, a few houses can set up a microgrid. Now we are doing, my chemistry students are doing some kind of feasibility studies in like 10 houses. How can we make a small grid, microgrid or nanogrid? And how we can understand the energy flow and energy sharing policy, all those things. Number 4, smart PV recycling. It is very important. After a few years, you will be having tons of waste, electronic waste plus PV waste. PV waste, they have lead. I told you, because we have been using the soldering thing here. So lead should be collected. Otherwise, it will contribute our groundwater. Okay. Recycling should be done. Then last one, solar cell fundamental research. Although we don't have any fabrication facility here, why? We can do masters elsewhere. We can do our activities. Of course, if not, our capacity building, our competence building, our confidence building. We know everything. For example, sitting here, sitting in the in the place where it takes almost 2.5 hours to my roughly 15 kilometer away home, but I can talk to the solar researchers worldwide. I can talk to in their own language. They understand my language, I understand their language. So that means this confidence building, right? So we will do cutting edge research for what? I know our research, because China has been even China has crippled Japan, China has crippled USA in terms of fabrication, manufacturing. Everything is from China. They know they cannot compete with China, but why still we are doing the research? We are building our confidence. We can work there. China will hire us. China know that they have problem with their own engineers. Their engineers do not talk that much good English. We have, to some extent, we understand English. We can speak English. So they will hire us. Okay? So this is laboratories. Still, I encourage that people will do nanotechnology, material science, even part of that we can do, and we can sell it to them. If we can solve some problem, we can sell it to them. So that's all. Are we ready? With that, I'd like to conclude. Thank you so much. Now it is open for few questions. Yes, please. I think you can take the microphone.
Microphone is there.
Thank you, sir, for your long press.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful speech. I have two particular questions. The first one is, as we know, the PV cells or solar cells have the most exposed